Final chapter, Mysterious Tower. Riku and the others had returned to the mysterious tower floating in the realm between. Sora, still asleep, sat propped against the wall with his legs splayed out. Riku knelt beside him, while Mickey, Donald, and Goofy looked on anxiously. Lee was standing against a wall a short distance away.
7 lights, 13 darknesses. Master Xehanort has been busy.
Yensid murmured and closed his eyes once he had received the report. Aw, Sora, don't tell me your heart's sleeping too, Mickey said to his young friend. He was remembering another boy who had slept in this room, Ventus, one of the 3 Keyblade wielders who had sought to save the world.
No, Mickey, this affliction is not the same,
the sorcerer said to the king, and Mickey looked over toward him.
Can we do anything for him?
Riku asked. Donald, Goofy, and Lee waited anxiously for the reply too.
In your Mark of Mastery exam, you were to unlock 7 sleeping keyholes. By doing so, you would awaken those worlds from their prison of slumber, and also acquire the power to free a heart from its sleep.
The wizard looked at Riku from his chair.
Riku, you unlocked those keyholes within Sora's dreams. Therefore, it stands to reason that you now have the power to awaken Sora's heart.
You want him to dive back into Sora's sleep? But, Master, Sora's heart is down in the darkest abyss. Mickey protested before Riku could answer. His expression was grim. If Riku's not careful, he might just get trapped down there with them. No, I'll go instead. He couldn't allow his friend to venture somewhere so dangerous. But Yensid disagreed.
And perhaps you may even succeed, Mickey. But there is no denying Riku stands the better chance, having dived into Sora's heart as long as he has,
he said, standing to look down at the slumbering boy. Mickey lowered his head, while Donald and Goofy shuffled uncertainly. Riku studied his sleeping friend's face for a moment, and then broke into a gentle smile.
Mickey, I really appreciate it, but I'll go wake Sora up.
Riku! Mickey weakly protested, but Riku just gave him a nod and turned back to Sora.
Look at his face, sleeping like nothing's wrong, like there's nothing to even worry about. He's always been like that. The 3 of us would agree to work on the raft, and then this guy would go take a nap on the beach. You see, it's my job to keep him on his toes. Besides, what kind of Keyblade master sleeps through his test? Aren't you guys forgetting about me? So I guess I'm the only one working on the raft.
Riku reflected on that conversation on the beach. That was where it all began.
I'm doing it for me too. Sora saved me once, and I heard him call my name. He needs me.
His conviction brought a smile to even Mickey's face. There's something real strong that binds us to each other. Even in the darkness, you can reach him. All you gotta do is follow that connection.
Gee, we're all connected to Sora,
Goofy added. You said it, Donald agreed. At the duo's cheery remarks, Lee joined the conversation too.
And if the darkness gets ya, I promise I'll bail ya out. Dark Rescue is my middle name.
Riku got to his feet.
Guys, thank you. Sora and I will be back soon,
he assured them. After a bow to Yensid, he gripped his Keyblade in his hand, raised it up, and held it out at Sora. A dark portal appeared. Light radiated from Riku's Keyblade, and the portal began to shine, and Riku dove into Sora's sleep. Darkness was in everything here. Some inky fluid covered the ground, while a black miasma rose toward the sky. This was the chasm of Sora's dreams. Riku surveyed his surroundings. The liquid seemed to be massing up ahead, gathering together into the shape of a person. What? When Riku readied his Keyblade, the humanoid mass turned into a suit of armor he had never seen before. It was about the same height as Riku's current form, himself before he had left the Destiny Islands. And then in the hands of the armored Ventus Nightmare was a Keyblade of purest jet.
What are you?
Riku whispered, but whether or not it heard him, the armor closed the gap between them at incredible speed and went on the offensive. Ugh! As soon as Riku stopped the blow, the armored Ventus Nightmare dove into the lightless morass at its feet and disappeared. Where'd it go? While Riku was distracted, 3 huge spheres appeared from the darkness and came at Riku. He knocked them away before they could surround him, but the nightmare abruptly reappeared in front of him with a devastating attack. As he blocked again, Riku noticed something. Aside from the color, the nightmare's Keyblade was very similar to Sora's.
Don't tell me the one in that armor is... His opponent seized Riku's moment of hesitation and landed a chain of blows. This wasn't a foe he could defeat by giving it any less than his all. Although the idea wasn't his favorite, his mind made up, Riku parried its attacks. And when he did, it stopped. With an especially powerful blow, Riku knocked the armored Ventus Nightmare away and thrust his Keyblade at his opponent before he could get back up. And before Riku knew it, he was grinning. I won't hold back, and I won't underestimate you. I'll give everything I have to set you free. I was always jealous of you, Sora. I used to feel it all the time. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't still. I believed that feeling was darkness, but now I know it's not. The truth is, it gave me strength, and so did having someone to challenge me. Light and darkness are perfect complements to each other. The shadows are always greatest next to the light. The light shines out brightest in the dark. I know what that means now, truly. When those dark feelings come over you, only your heart can decide whether to let them sink deeper into the darkness or to bring them out into the light of the sun. Accepting both is what it means to have a heart. It's what gives us strength. Even wanting to protect those you care about is a form of pride in a way. I don't think anyone can honestly say it's not. Same thing with wanting to be stronger. Joy and sorrow, anger and hatred. Whether those feelings become your light or your darkness is for you to decide. The strength of your heart is what allows you to choose. That's why I choose to let the light shine onto my own darkness. And Sora, that light is you. Riku landed a final strike on the armored Ventus Nightmare, and the armor cracked. The protective shell shattered with a flash, and Sora appeared from within while the shroud over the world around him began to clear. But... Sora! Though Riku grabbed for him, Sora was sinking into the darkness at his feet. He reached out desperately, but he was too late. All that remained was Sora's Keyblade. Riku picked up his friend's weapon and raised it toward the center of this place. The darkness of sleep, and a sleeping keyhole appeared. This was the door leading to the innermost depths of Sora's heart. Light shot from the Keyblade and into the keyhole, which glowed brighter and brighter until everything went white. Riku found himself on the wooden walkway of the isles he called home, the Destiny Islands. And standing there in the sunset was not Sora, but... Roxas? Riku said to the golden-haired boy. What is it you're so afraid of? Riku wasn't quite sure how to answer. What am I afraid of? Well, what scares me more than anything is... losing something that's important. At his answer, Roxas disappeared. Yeah. What I'm most afraid of is losing what I care about. Riku began to walk from the bridge to the beach. He remembered playing tag here with Sora countless times. This time, a boy who looked a lot like Roxas appeared before him. Roxas? No, wait. Something was different, not only his clothes, but something about the way he carried himself. What is the one thing you care about more than anything else? Again, Riku was unsure. What I care about the most? There was only one answer, what mattered to him more than anything, and what terrified him to lose. My close friends. Again, he answered, and the Roxas lookalike was gone. He had no idea what was going on here anymore. Riku suddenly looked up and saw someone sitting on the paopu tree on the islet. Sora! He hurried over across the bridge, and there he found a dark-haired girl in a black coat, taking in the sunset. Who are you? He asked. Without even turning his way, the girl asked him a question in return, her eyes still on the sinking sun below the horizon. Riku, what do you wish? More questions. All right. This time, Riku knew exactly what to say. He stood next to the girl and leaned against the paopu tree. To recover something important that I lost. As soon as he gave his response, light engulfed him, and he found himself back on the beach. A small bottle came drifting in from the sea, painted red by the setting sun. What's this? Riku murmured as he picked it up, and then he heard a voice. You were not the visitor I expected. Ansem the Wise, was walking toward him across the sand. What are you doing here? Ansem the Wise strode over to the waterline without so much as a glance at Riku. Perhaps I wanted to atone for the events of the past. He paused for a moment, perhaps considering his next words. Even if no apology can undo the harm I have wrought, I felt that I ought to leave at least something behind, So I digitized myself and my research and hid them within Sora.
Riku looked at the bottle in his hand.
So this is data?
He asked.
Yes, a clue, I hope, to finding yourselves or your lost friends in your hour of need.
Little by little, he began to speak.
The heart has always been quick to grow. Each exposure to light, to the natural world, to other people shapes his most malleable part inside us. Nobodies are not different from us in that manner. Sora was the only one able to return to his human form without destroying his nobody. That is a statement to the love in his heart for other people, and the bonds that tie them together. Perhaps he has the power to bring back the hearts and existences of those connected to him, to recreate people we thought were lost to us forever. Our most precious memories, even an empty puppet, the trees of the forest, and the petals of the wind. There are hearts surround us everywhere we look, and it does not take superhuman powers to see them. Surely we remember as children the way our hearts made everything seem so shiny and perfect. Sora has a heart like that, uncorrupted, willing to see the good before the bad. When he sees the heart in something, it then becomes real. When a connection seems broken, he may have the power to mend it.
Silently, Riku just listened.
He has touched countless hearts. He has accepted them, and he has saved them. And some of those hearts have never left him, whether they fell into darkness or were trapped there, whether they sleep in the darkness of Sora's heart or were welcomed into its warmth. They can be saved. All Sora needs to do is be himself and follow wherever it is that his heart takes him. It is the best and the only way.
Ansem the Wise pointed at Riku's bottle.
The rest is in there.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Riku replied. The sage looked at Riku.
Of course. Now, why are you here?
I kinda need to wake Sora up. Ansem the Wise smiled faintly at that.
Don't tell me he's gone to sleep again.
Yeah, what'll I do with him? Riku smiled back.
What indeed?
Riku had worked with Diz in the past, and he had also worked against him, but this time they simply shared a warm smile.
Never fear, Sora is safe.
Huh? Riku asked instinctively.
He's not here. You see, by defeating the nightmare imprisoning Sora, you freed him.
You mean the Sora wrapped in that black phantom? Ansem nodded gently, then he said,
Then you came here, and you were questioned by 3 young people. That was the final key to awaken him. Sora is awake. You can go home now.
Those questions were the key to waking him up. I knew my answers were right. I see. Thank you. Riku expressed his gratitude again, then held his keyblade aloft. A keyhole rose there, and the beam of light lanced into it. As the boy rose into the air, Ansem the Wise had one final question for him.
Young man, I do not believe you ever told me your name.
Ansem the Wise had asked him the question once before, back when Riku knew him as Diz.
But first, perhaps you would tell me your true name.
Riku had once answered with another name, but this time, he could hold his head high and say who he really was. It's Riku. He nodded at Ansem the Wise with a smile and vanished into the glow from the keyhole. Is Riku still not back? Riku had awakened with ravenous hunger from his time asleep, and he was stuffing his face with some cake that had been set out on the table. Beside him, Mickey and Lee, who was sitting backward on his chair, looked over at Riku with concern. Quite some time had passed since Sora came to, so it was odd that Riku had yet to wake. Or so they thought, when Riku stirred. Riku! Mickey called. His eyes flew open, and he sat upright. Sora! He shouted. And then he saw his best friend wolfing down cake and tea with Donald and Goofy. Hey, Donald, come on, you're hogging it all. Aw, calm down, Sora, and drink your tea. Gosh, it sure is yummy. The 3 of them were going at it like usual. Hey! It was exactly like usual, which was why Riku had to interrupt with a good-natured complaint. When Sora turned around, he was in full party mode with a pair of mustache glasses on his face. He looked ridiculous. Riku suddenly felt very, very tired. Riku! Sora removed the glasses and flung his arms around his friend. You're safe! Riku! As Sora hugged him tight and nearly knocked him into the wall, Riku asked quietly, Wait, haven't we got this backward? After a moment, Sora finally let go. And why are you having a tea party? You're safe, Riku! As Sora embraced him again, Riku realized his questions would never be answered. Never mind. You okay? Feeling all right? Yeah, I've never been better, Sora said, striking a pose for effect. I was watching what was going on in my dream, and I could hear your voice the whole time. Thanks, Riku. Riku nodded, and Sora turned his attention to the rest of the room. Thanks, everyone. They all shared a look and smiled, while Yen Sid gently observed. Noticing him, Sora asked, Oh yeah, did we pass the test?
You both performed truly admirably, both of you.
As the sorcerer began to speak, Sora and Riku stood and assembled in front of him. Yen Sid cleared his throat slowly, and the cheery atmosphere grew serious. Mickey, Donald, and Goofy all stood beside the desk, while Lee was off by himself against the wall.
More than anything, I am grateful to have you both back from Xehanort's deception unharmed, and I am also grateful to Lee, whose spontaneous actions turned the tides.
He looked over at Lee and nodded. Lee returned the gesture.
I am also deeply sorry for failing to perceive the danger and throwing you headlong into a perilous test. This experience has revealed many hidden truths, and we must gird ourselves for the great clash with darkness that lies before us. I believe we need a new Keyblade Master, one with a new kind of power.
Riku knew what he was getting at. Just because you can use a Keyblade doesn't mean you're a master. Riku felt himself tensing up a little.
Sora and Riku, you both deserve the honor. However, one of you braved the realm of sleep again to unlock the final keyhole and save a friend. Riku, I name you our new true Keyblade Master.
Riku was stunned for a moment, not quite sure what had been said. He was sure both of them would pass as masters, but Yen Sid had named only one of them.
He's not saying it was just me?
Way to go, Riku! Sora took his friend by the shoulder, and the reality finally hit him. One person had been named master, and it was Riku.
Yeah?
I knew you were going to pass with flying colors! This is just so awesome! Donald and Goofy shared a look at Sora's reaction.
Gee, Sora, you're kinda acting like it's you that passed.
I told you Sora still needed some practice, Donald quipped. Hey! Sora barked. As they bantered, Riku still couldn't believe it was real.
Really? I'm a Keyblade Master?
He quietly asked, looking over to Sora. Sora gave him an enthusiastic nod. Congratulations, Riku! Mickey walked up to him and held out a hand.
Thank you, Mickey.
Riku knelt down and clasped hands with the king.
I owe it to my friends.
He smiled, full of gratitude. That was when Lee chimed in. I'll catch up with you in no time flat. What? You want to be a Keyblade Master? Sora asked back in shock. Yeah, I came here to learn how to wield one. Lee stepped away from the wall, puffing out his chest with pride for some reason. You? Sora and Riku exclaimed in shock. Hey, thanks for the vote of confidence. I was gonna come swooping in, Keyblade in hand, but I just couldn't get mine to materialize. Must be something in the snap of the wrist or something. As Lee held out his hand in front of him, something flashed into it. Oh, a Keyblade like fire itself. Whoa! Everyone in the room, aside from Yen Sid and Lee, shouted, but it wasn't quite over yet. Sora stood at the entrance to the mysterious tower.
Do you have to go?
Mickey asked him with worry. Well, I did doze off. I just have some stuff to take care of. Are you going to be okay? Donald was concerned too. Yeah, I won't be long. Sora replied with a grin. Riku and Mickey looked on from behind Donald and Goofy. Be careful, Mickey called.
Very careful,
Riku added. Right, see you soon. With that said, Sora held his Keyblade up to the sky. A sleeping keyhole appeared in the air, and he vanished in a flash of light. Sora had arrived in Traverse Town. Good! I was hoping this world was still here. But he was all alone. Disappointed, Sora looked around. But where are they? Muff! Sora turned around as a familiar cry reached his ears. There you are! Meowa was bounding toward him, overjoyed. Did you help Riku? Muff! Yeah, he told me all about it. Sora patted the Dream Eater's head as it rubbed against him, then looked up at Komori-Bat flying over too. The spirits had protected him and Riku. Thanks, you're the best! Sora's new adventure was about to begin. Right about then, in Castle Oblivion's Chamber of Waking, a lone boy was fast asleep. A peaceful smile rose on his lips, as if he were seeing a pleasant dream. Then, Coda. Sora's late. Do you think he's okay? Goofy watched the sky from the base of the mysterious tower. Donald sighed beside him.
Gosh, Lee sure hurried back to Radiant Garden, and now Master Yensid's sending Riku away too on some mystery errand,
Goofy commented, and Donald let out an even longer sigh.
You think we'll ever get to do something important?
Just as Goofy asked his question, someone arrived in front of the mysterious tower. Whack! Donald exclaimed as he noticed the newcomer, and Goofy turned to look too.
Oh, welcome back, Riku. Hey, wait.
Goofy put his head to one side, his surprise turning to a smile as Donald hopped up as well. Up in Yensid's chamber, the sorcerer was speaking to Mickey.
The Keyblade Wars of yore purged the true Kingdom Hearts into darkness, and the Keyblade was shattered. But the light still shining in the hearts of children rebuilt the world that we know today. And the light from the broken Keyblade was then divided into 7, to protect the number of pure hearts in the world.
7 pure lights. They're the princesses of heart, Mickey stated quietly.
Indeed. Those 7 pure hearts form the very source of all light in the world. If they are lost, the world will again give way to shadow. Thus, even if we deliberately avoid finding our 7 lights to avert another Keyblade War, Xehanort will still target the 7 princesses in order to form the Keyblade.
As Yensid laid out the facts, Mickey grew increasingly uneasy. There's gonna be a clash between 7 lights and 13 darknesses, and there's nothing we can do to avoid triggering the Keyblade War?
To protect the 7 pure hearts, we will need 7 lights strong enough to stand against the 13 darknesses.
7 guardians of light. With Sora, Riku, and Mickey, plus the 3 that were asleep, they had 6, and then Lee made 7.
But Sora and another on your list belong to me now, and that puts you 3 guardians short.
Mickey recalled what Master Yensid had said. They had gotten Sora back, but one of the others, a person lost in sleep, was still in Xehanort's clutches? If so, they would be down 1. So we're missing 1 guardian of light. Mickey mused as the door opened. He turned around. Riku, you're back! He greeted his friend. That's right. Riku replied, stepping into the room. Master Yensid, I brought you the guest you asked for, but you never said why. As Riku spoke, Mickey noticed someone behind him, and when he saw who it was, he yelped in surprise. Huh? Wow!
I have come to learn that you too can wield a Keyblade. I am glad you are here.
Yensid bade her welcome, and she stepped into the room. This time, I'll fight. Kairi had once said those words as she wielded a Keyblade and faced down evildoers at the end of their second adventure. And now, here she was. As time marched on, the fated battle drew ever nearer.
This world is just too small.
End of Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, the novel.